Aye, guys. Series in Boston went about as poorly as it possibly could have. It went from bad to atrocious to about as ugly as possible.
Unwatchable.
Unwatchable in a series of 3 days, or 3 games, technically 2 days. We're going to break down this Boston series, and if there's any hope for the Cardinals pitching moving forward on this episode of D on the Cards. I think it aged pretty well that at least most of our optimistic conversations have come about the offense, because the Cardinals offense was not the problem in the series against Boston Red Sox, nor has it been a problem all year, as they consistently rank top 5, top 3 in every statistical category offensively. Even with runners in scoring position this year, they're one of the best teams in baseball. The offense is doing its job, but you know what's not doing its job, boys? Miles Mikolas, Eric Fetty, and this Cardinals bullpen that is just completely imploded during this Boston series. And you could see signs of it in the Minnesota series, but the offense was so stinking good it didn't really matter. It definitely started to come more to light in the Angels series, and then of course Boston just been the worst of it. I guess just initial reaction, guys, because the chat's just firing, wanting to hear a Sandy rant specifically. So Sandy, why don't you just give us your all?
Oh, Jordan Walker base hit's kind of fun at the end of the game.
Hey, Thomas to JC bomb though. We love to see that.
Let me set the scene for you, okay? You know, I live in Texas. I went to the Baylor baseball game today, and we suck too. We just dropped a series at home to Houston. That was terrible.
It took a minute 30 to get to a Baylor reference today.
Well, just wait. So I'm in the stands at the Baylor baseball game with about 50 other loyal spectators. One of my buddies is in from out of town, and he's a big Baylor baseball fan, so we went to the game. And it's April 6th in Texas, but the feels like temperature is 32 with 25-mile-an-hour winds. So we're all bundled up. Everyone's miserable. And Iván Herrera gets hurt. So that's just the worst thing ever. So I'm already in a bad mood. Baylor can't hit Houston's starter, who's got a 5.7 ERA in Big 12 play. So that sucks. And then, I figure, well, at least the Cardinals are going to win the game, right? And so I'm watching the 9th inning while also watching Baylor lose. Baylor just dropping the series. Ryan Helsley comes in, blows the save. And on top of it all, I hear rumors that, one of my favorite basketball players is transferring all at the same time, all in about a 10-minute stretch. So welcome to group therapy.
Welcome to group therapy.
This is just the worst. And so then I went back into the bathroom below the stadium where it's warm, because our stadium's really small and cold, and it was freezing today. And watched Ryan Helsley blow it, got really upset, came back, and then watched the Bears finish off a frustrating loss. So it was a great day, all things considered. Nothing to complain about here. And Herrera's hurt. And my guy might be transferring and whatever.
Yeah, this is the worst loss of the day.
Yeah, this is the worst loss of the day so far.
I guess
make that little gem.
The silver.
I feel like the first loss was worse because
this sucks way more
because Herrera got hurt. Like this one was a Miles Mikolas. Like this happens. Like 3 times.
Yeah.
No, this didn't happen this way last year with Mikolas. He didn't give up more than 5 runs. He gave up more than 5 runs like 4 times last year total. It wasn't like
4 times. It's a lot.
Yeah, so that's
like this though. This is far
4
worse.
blow-up starts.
Yeah, but this is worse than any of those individual starts.
Okay, but still, but giving up 6 or more runs in a game isn't good. Like, is even?
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying this is like worse than any start he had last year. This is like a new level.
That's fine, but when your starter gives up more than 5 or 6 runs, you're like 95% of the time going to lose that game. I actually agree with you, Andrew. The Sunday night's more embarrassing, but like the worst game is the earlier game because they should have won that game. And like you kind of expect when a Mikolas start happens, you're like, man, I hope they can win this game. But when Plantage couldn't go deep in that game, which is part of the problem. There's a lot of things I think you can nitpick about that game, even above Ryan Helsley not performing. That was one game this year where they didn't hit with RISP, right? So that was a problem. But you had like a Brendan Donovan running snafu, which was weird. You had Wilson Contreras like botch that run down, and then the Red Sox end up scoring that inning, which ends up reversing the game there because you wouldn't even. I mean, I guess who knows what Ryan Helsley would have done, but you would assume he gets the save in that part with a 3-run lead instead of 2. Again, you had the blow up there. You have Fernandez being terrible. I mean, that game sucked. And once you drop that game, you're kind of like, man, the Cardinals are probably getting swept here. At least if you got that game, you're not getting swept. You're going to finish this series at least 500. So yeah, not great. But Andrew, what's your feelings right now?
I mean, the pitching was never really supposed to be the interesting part of this team, but I hope I mean, this is maybe best case scenario with Miles Mikolas, right? Like you knew it was going to be bad coming into this year, but like this is probably worse than any of. I mean, you're right. This is worse than any of his starts last year
by far.
But,
like, let's not pretend Mikolas was always unpitchable last year. This is so much worse.
But like the velo looks down, the stuff looks terrible, and like I won't lie when I say that like Miles Mikolas is already like he pitched fine against the Angels, but he's also I hold him responsible partially for that loss getting to extra innings because he like any other starter probably would have been left in there at the pitch count that he had to face Mike Trout, but clearly the team didn't have the trust in him.
You can't blame Miles Mikolas for going 5 1/3 with 2 earned runs. That was not his fault.
But I mean, when you pride yourself on being an innings eater and you've thrown 5 1/3 innings and you've thrown 2 2/3 innings in your 2 appearances so far,
I mean,
which I think is the least amount of innings anyone in this rotation has thrown.
He's only thrown 8 innings.
Barring Liberatore, who just hasn't had the second start yet.
Where do you think Mikolas ranks in innings since 2023?
On the team or in the league?
In all baseball?
Oh, probably like 35th or 40th.
Oh, really? You really thought that low? And all
maybe
baseball?
like 25th.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say top 10. He's outside the top 10, but
yeah.
But guess where he ranks in? Let me pull these up for you because I'm done with the.
That's the best on the Cardinals.
Dead last because Patrick Corbin's not qualified anymore.
Mr. Miles Mikolas ranks top 2 in the worst ERA and K percentage in all baseball since 2023. He's top 10 worst in FIP, WHIP, home runs per 9, and batting average allowed. I don't think there's any room to defend Miles Mikolas anymore. It doesn't matter if he gives you innings. It's the top 10 worst pitcher in baseball. Well, that's where I'm like, even last year, like you said, that he didn't have a start that bad. He had a red start where he gave up 10 runs.
Yeah, that's what that. But he at least went 4 innings and saved you more bullpen. This is worse than that. I'm saying this is the worst start.
Okay, but we're like talking about like this in terms of.
I'm just saying that's like he only gave up more than 6 runs once last year. I'm saying the Mikolas criticism is fair.
Andrew just removed Sandy. Okay, yeah, Sandy, you're banned from talking until you stop justifying anything about Miles Mikolas. You can't say it. You just no more. We're good. We don't need it.
Okay.
We're gonna bring you back.
Well,
stop.
Let me explain one thing.
No, he's gone again. We're not defending Miles Mikolas anymore. I love how everyone at the CIA got Sandy. Okay, if you're on audio, I'm so sorry, but we just had to stop it. Okay, Sandy, go ahead, but please stop. Oh, I tried to put it back. Stop defending Miles.
The only thing I'm gonna say is that like the Cardinals were 500 in his starts last year, which is not the end of the world. There are other problems,
but that's not because he's good.
I mean,
it's not even because he's average. It's just they won in spite of him. That's where I feel like wins losses like. It doesn't really matter because what was his quality starts last year? It might have been
the most on the team, unfortunately.
The most on the team. Yeah. Well, that's again, we can say unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. All I'm saying is though, like people are acting as if you get rid of Miles Mikolas, it fixes all the team's problems. Like that's not true.
No, it's not.
It's not true at all. And like I understand criticizing Mikolas because today's horrendous and he's given you like 7 or 8 horrendous starts in the last calendar year. That's terrible. All I'm saying is like, you can't say, "Oh, I blame him for the loss against the Angels," when that was not his fault. He was fine. That's one of the better starts we've gotten from a pitcher this year. It was way better than Fetty's start. It was better than Sonny Gray's start. I mean, Sonny Gray gave up 5 runs and 3 homers. Like Miles Mikolas didn't do that against the Angels. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's like good.
He's in there to give length. And he didn't give length.
Yeah, absolutely. And but so Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray's your ace. Like there are problems all over the pitching staff, but people are acting like Miles Mikolas is the only one. Like there's a lot of other issues too. Gordon Graceffo came in and got shelled too.
How many pitches did Mikolas?
Graceffo's not getting paid. What is it? $18 million.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a good. I'm not defending the contract. It was a stupid contract.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the revisionist history with Miles Mikolas because people are pretending that he sucked the whole time he's been a Cardinal, and that's It's not fair. He's a two-time All-Star with the Cardinals. He gave the Cardinals some solid years.
Okay, but here's the problem.
Like, pretending that he was trash the whole time is like not helpful. Or
he's been trashed the entire time that he's been on this extension.
Exactly. Well, Adam Wainwright was trashed the entire time he was on his last extension too.
And people trashed him.
I know, but I'm fine trashing the last 2 years of Mikolas. I'm saying if you trash. Like, if you just say Mikolas was always bad for the Cardinals, which is what
I don't think anyone's really saying that.
I've seen a lot of people say that. I've seen a lot of people say
but
that.
I think it's because people are so caught up and heated in the moment. It's like Matt Carpenter thinks the microcosm of this, where Matt Carpenter was a perfect soldier for 8 years. They signed him to an extension too early, beginning in 2019, coming off of top 10 MVP year. They didn't have to sign him, but they did it. Had a bad year and a terrible 2 final years. And then by the end of it, everyone hated Matt Carpenter. And that's terrible.
I don't like that, is all I'm saying.
I agree. But that's here. And again, that's within the player's control to play better. But this is where the organization really annoys me, is that they put a guy like Matt Carpenter in a tough situation where it's like, yeah, it really sucks. A DFA guy. It's not like Matt Carpenter sitting in the clubhouse being like, please release me. I need to go. He thinks he can figure it out. The organization needs to pull the plug and say, you're done. You can't do this anymore. We're doing what's best for all parties here. And they don't do it. With someone like Miles Mikolas, like in today's start, he only threw 81 pitches. I think you make him throw at least 100.
I agree. I would have let him throw the whole day. I would have just left him out there.
But and I get to a point where it gets too embarrassing for the player and it's doing harm or good. But then you release him. Like, you get rid of that guy. And because, to your point, Sandy, it's totally true. Michael McGreevy could fill in, Robertsley could fill in, Quinn Mathews could fill in, and it could be just as bad. But at least you're starting to see young pitchers and you're getting information about the future at that point, which I know you don't disagree with that. But I'm saying, like, I think the thing that people are pulling their hair out about Mikolas is that this is the 3rd year now where we've seen that this guy is arguably the worst pitcher in baseball, not arguably a top 10 worst pitcher in baseball. That is fact at this point. I think it's probably fact he's top 3 worst. We want to see Michael McGreevy at the very least. Quinn Mathews, Semper Bursa. I'm glad Mathews is in there. And I know you're not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying, like, and if these guys get hurt and you've got Gordon Graceffo in the rotation, guess what? Having Mikolas in the rotation wasn't really going to be any better. We have 3 years of sample size to say at this point. Maybe you get more length. Woo! Wow!
Gordon Graceffo came in relief and threw more innings today than Miles Mikolas.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's like other guys have blow up starts too, though, is what I'm saying too. Like Lance Lynn last year had the single worst start any Cardinal had all year against the Nationals.
Yeah, but at least I mean, it's not. We wanted more from Lance Lynn last year, that's for sure.
I think Mikolas was better than Lance Lynn last year at times, not the whole season, but Lance Lynn would give you like 3 innings a start.
Lance Lynn had a sub-4 ERA.
Yeah, and gave you
at least it
less
wasn't
than 100
pretty.
innings, basically. It was so bad. Mikolas fit positive. Yeah, no, I'm not saying Mikolas is a good pitcher. I'd love to DFA him. I'm just saying people acting like he's the whole problem with the team. And like I take exception when Andrew says I blame Mikolas for the first loss. No, Mikolas.
I blame Mikolas when he doesn't give you the innings that he's. That's the only thing he's good for on this roster is to give you innings.
He said it was partly his fault. It was Mikolas'
entirely the offense and bullpen's fault that we lost that game. Like, that was the second best start the Cardinals got the first time through the rotation. That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to say, this is another thing I think Sandy and I are going to differ on, is I cannot take any slander against the offense right now.
No, me neither. The offense is fine.
Like, I don't think there's a single game, even really Monday's game. I'm like, sure, you could have won more from it, but I'm not going to say that even Monday's game was the offense's. I guess the extent that Andrew just said Monday was on Mikolas is the extent I would say it was on the offense, where it's like, yeah, they could have done more. And so you put part of the blame pie to them. But really this week, the blame pie is like, Fetty and Mikolas are like this much of it, and like the bullpen is like the rest of the thing. The bullpen just completely blown up and falling apart here, and that's been one of the things going into the season that we're kind of like, oh, you got to see what happens here. Yeah, it's not backbreaking though, but it could have been better. What game did it cost you? Though?
It didn't necessarily. It wasn't only the defense, but Brendan Donovan throwing home in that game was not helpful, and that gave up a run that you didn't have to lose. In the first game against the Red Sox, honestly, not controlling the run game in the series against the Red Sox has cost you at least 4 runs.
That's probably the pitching, though.
Yes,
look at the jumps that they're getting.
Mm-hmm, it's awful. And it's not just Herrera, because Pies comes in and also gets stolen on a bunch. Yeah. Like, it's a problem with the whole team. But the defense is bad. Walker took a terrible route on a ball earlier this series in the first game that cost you a couple runs. Like, the defense isn't helping either. It's all bad except for the offense. But like, yeah, I'm not trying to blame the offense or anything either. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it's bad. It's really frustrating.
But like even Risp right now, which I think is sometimes has been frustrating. It's like they're first in average runners or second in batting average running scoring position, first in on base percentage, third in slug. What are they in OPS? They're second in OPS. Like,
yeah,
I know
fine.
that individual moments it isn't, but like that's baseball. There'll be individual moments where you don't come through. When you're that good at it, I'm not going to rip my hair out about it unless it's like consistent, unless you're like, which I don't think is true of this team so far. It's not like they're merchants where they're getting all these hits and when you have an 8-run lead. Like, they've had some of those, but every team has some of those. But they've been clutch for the most part. This bullpen cannot like stop like a dripping, like a drop of water from coming. Like, it just like it just leaks. It flows out right now. It's terrible.
The bullpen has a ERA over 20 in extra innings. We've played 4 extra innings and they've given up 9 runs. It's horrendous.
Some of those are not earned.
Okay, fine. 4 of them aren't earned. 4 of them aren't earned. They've still given up 5 earned runs in addition to the 4 inherited runners scoring. And that's horrendous. That's really, really, really bad.
Yeah. Oh man. And it's tough because it's like, I don't know what they do right now, because I mean, you probably need to see a lot of guys get shuffled down to Memphis tomorrow and which is interesting. There's a new rule this year that you have to play the first 10 games of the season before you can make a roster move that wasn't because of an injury. So that's part of the reason maybe we haven't seen some fresh arms come up yet. But like, do you see Riley O'Brien come up? Do you see, I mean, Graceffa already came up. Do you see, I don't think they pulled the McGreevy card yet. I think they really want him to be a starter. Does Robersa come up? Does Munoz come up? I'm trying to think of some of these guys that barely missed. Yeah, but I'm guessing it's probably guys on the 40.
Granillo.
They're coming up. I don't think Granillo's not on the 40. I don't think, right? Not? I don't think so.
Well, hopefully they have an extra spot tomorrow.
I mean, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to DFA Mikolas yet. They should, but they're not going to.
I mean, here's your guys you can call up tomorrow. You can call Bludis. You can call, well, no, Tink's hurt. So you can call Bludis, McGreevy, Munoz, O'Brien, Robersa, Roby, Savanson. We know they're not going to do Roby or Robersa or probably McGreevy. So you're looking at Ludis, Munoz, O'Brien, and maybe Savanson, unless they make a move on the 40-man roster.
It would be really funny if they called up McGreevy as a starter, and also really not funny, but I feel like they would do that.
Wait, as a starter?
No, as a reliever.
Oh, yeah.
That wouldn't be funny. That just made me upset. Like, I'm
it
not,
would be really bad.
I don't even want to laugh at the team sucking because I want them to be good. Like, it's just going to piss me off. Don't, like, please, Cardinals, don't do that. That's dumb. They might.
Oh, man. I'm about to probably want to scream when I see this, but I'm pulling up the Cardinals bullpen ERAs individually right now. So I know it's going to make me cry.
Parental warning.
Parental warning for this one.
Grand parental content.
Oh man. Yep. This is not safe for work content right here. Here we go. Gordon Graceffa's got a 21 ERA right now. Ryan Fernandez 13.5. John King 13.5. Ryan Helsley 4.5.
Hey, John King's been down.
Roycroft 3.86. Ooh, Steven Matz 2.57. Romero 1.93. Leahy 1.80. And the best signing of the offseason, Phil Maton. Straight zeros so far.
The only signing of the offseason.
Hey, we're also that part. So really right now it's like Maton, Leahy, and Romero you can rely on. Roycroft's average, and then you're getting blow-ups from, which again, it's 4 games, 2 games, 3 games. So like you can have one bad appearance and it matches this.
Sample size is really small. That's
yeah.
I mean, like, a lot of these guys are like, Helsley's not going to have an ERA, around 9 all year. Like, obviously that's going to go down. So these guys are going to average out. And like, I mean, the Cardinals are on pace to lose like 65 games and to go 0-65 in extra innings this year. Obviously that's not going to happen. It just sucks that like probably 3 of the worst 10 losses of the whole season happened within 4 days of each other, all at the same time, all at the very beginning of the season. Yeah. So that just is really unfortunate, like there are going to be good moments. They're just not here yet. And it's not fun.
Yeah.
Just bad, like a terrible luck week, just not fun.
But I do think it's like, I mean, and I think you would agree here. It's concerning at the very least.
Oh yeah.
The bullpen is right now. And especially because some of the more intriguing options you could potentially throw into this bullpen mix are also some of the guys you potentially would want in the rotation, right? Where it's like, well, I guess you're not going to do with Quinn or McGreevy, but I mean, and you're not, and I would prefer them not to do it Tekoa this year. I want them to get those innings, but they could do it. I mean, I guess Graceffa could be a bullpen arm. So like there's
Graceffo
that.
Probably,
And today, I don't think today should be like, oh, Graceffo should never be on the major league roster again, or shouldn't be a bullpen arm. It's like what they brought him in to do is like, hey man, we need you to give us some innings in lengthen out here. But if he's being called upon in 1 inning, 2 inning stints out of the bullpen, he's going to prepare differently. His velo will play up. I think he could be better in situations like that.
It's also just it's really hard, I think, to come in when your team's already getting shellacked because it's like that offense is red hot. Clearly, they're seeing the ball and they've got a lot of confidence, and they just chased your starter in the third. And you bring a guy in, it's like, what do you think's going to happen? You know, like you're probably also going to get shelled until they get up by enough and stop caring. And eventually, the Red Sox stopped caring tonight, so thank goodness.
Yeah. We will continue our bullpen rant and talk about Iván Herrera and such like that because we haven't really touched on that yet. But first, want to continue to thank the sponsor of our podcast. Again, presenting sponsors 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're located at 9640 Olive Boulevard in Olivet. They're open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. They buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards. They have the newest selections of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars from around the league. You got to go check them out. We get that Mason Witt two-way card. We should have seen Mason Witt pitch tonight. Yeah, many of you already checked them out. It's been fun to get DMs from some of you guys recently who've been in the store. So make sure you go check out 314 and let them know we sent you. They also want to tell you about our partnership with Underdog Sports. The Deal in the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries. Make sure you use that promo code CARDS in the top left corner to get the first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash and first free pick 'em. And then also you can download the app in the description, or you can just go look it up in whatever app store you use. Maybe to finish out the bullpen conversation, is there any guys that your like radar's kind of going off on right now specifically? Like obviously it's been bad starts for most of them, but like, is there any specific names in the bullpen right now where you're worried about for this season? It's like this guy might not have it this year.
I'm worried about Ryan Fernandez because he finished the season last year so poorly. And I mean, I really don't know who else you go to in that 10th inning. I'm not really sure you even want the game to go to the 11th because then, I don't know, like you're just depleted. And
no, you want the game to go to the 11th though because you might win.
You might win and
you have to play for the win.
Yeah, but and like there's just not another option there. But I'm worried about that. I believe the Rule 5 rules are just that the Cardinals get to keep him. He wouldn't go back anywhere because we kept him for 1 year, so he can be optioned to AAA freely, and that might be a move that they do tomorrow. But it's looked bad, and just not great performance in the second half last year. Someone that I was looking for to have a strong start to the season in the bullpen, and like one of the guys that you really relied on last season to lock down those leads, and it just hasn't been there at all. And then like I don't know, Jose, I feel like will be fine, but
he'll be fine. He looked great in the Twin series. He had a couple of lockdowns. Today he just couldn't locate the fastball, and just a problem.
Yeah. I would agree with the Fernandez side of it. King to an extent of like, and this is more like less about hating on John King, because I agree with Sandy. He's been really clutch the past few years and a lot better than I thought he'd be. I thought he was a guy that did deserve to be on the 40 man, and he's provided value. But I think with his kind of profile as a player, you're really relying on batted ball luck. And as a reliever in his situation, that's a tough spot to be in. And I think it's just as natural if there's going to be a few years, even if he has a long career, that just aren't great.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that this is maybe one of those years that the ball's just not going to fall for him well. And frankly, like if the Liberatore experience doesn't really work long-term in the rotation, I would much rather, if you can only have 3 lefties, and Matz is going to be one of those, then I'd rather have Liberatore over King. But again, it's nothing against John King. It's more like maybe this isn't his year. But it sucks because he's a guy that they've been able to rely on in that 5th, 6th, 7th inning to get you a ground ball double play. And right now he's coming in, he's getting those ground balls, but they're just going through the holes right now.
Finding holes. Yeah.
So that could be tough. But otherwise, like, I mean,
with King, right? So
yeah, he's got 2 options. I think.
I mean, it's fine. He'll be back eventually. I probably won't watch a single game until they recall him. Not one of those people.
What do you guys feel about like, do you have any concerns with Ryan Helsley at all?
No. I thought he was fine. Like he threw a 96 mile an hour slider today, had his fastball well up over 100 at times. Like, he's fine. He's really good. Honestly, like, this is the frustrating part. Ryan Helsley looked like great in flashes in that inning of work. Okay. Like, with Devers up, right? Tying run on third base, Devers at the plate, 2 outs. He gets that big strikeout before, who did he strike out? Duran, right? Strike out Duran. That's awesome.
So.
Yeah. He struck out Duran and brings Devers up and gets ahead 1-2 in the count. And then just throws three straight pitches off the plate. Like, people blaming Ollie put Helsley in a position to get the save and to lead the Cardinals to a win. And honestly, if Ryan Helsley just brings one of those pitches over the plate, if he just throws his fastball up in the zone, like, probably swings right through it. That's what's so frustrating. He probably swings right through it, and it's probably not the end of the game, or probably not the end of the world, and the Cardinals probably win the game. It is the end of the game. And the people that are blaming Ollie, like, Ollie got Helsley to the doorstep, okay? Like, put him in the right position. And if he just throws one pitch in the zone, like, Ollie can't get up there and throw strikes. So that's really frustrating. But
maybe he can. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just the people that were like blaming Ollie after that loss was so annoying. Ollie can't get in there and throw strikes. He can't get in there and execute. All he can do is put players in positions to win. And to his credit, Ryan Helsley was 1 pitch away from winning the game on multiple occasions, first off. But right there, like, he just had to throw a strike, and he just didn't.
And we're not talking about he brought in. I mean, even though I like Kyle Leahy, he didn't bring Kyle Leahy in that spot and kept him rolling when it's freaking Ryan Helsley. Like, if he's that good, then you trust him in those spots. And it's like, I even saw some people be like, well, why did they pull Phil Maton? He only threw like 8 pitches. It's like, okay, so you're telling me if they kept Maton in the 9th and it didn't go well, that no one would have questioned it and been like, why didn't you go to Ryan Helsley? And it's like,
90%
everyone would question that.
90% of manager criticism is just like, hindsight's 2020, and that decision backfired. So I'm gonna, talk crap about it now. To be positive, I will say I'm excited about Leahy this year. Like, he looks pretty good so far. 2.70 ERA, small sample size, but he's been fine. So that's my one positive right now.
Positive. Yeah, I guess the one other thing I'll add to that Helsley side of things, because I did have some people respond like it was all his fault. I'm like, okay, tell me how. Like, because he kept even aside from not leaving Maton in, they said he didn't pull Helsley. He should have taken him out. It's like, okay, so what you're telling me here is he basically probably has like 3 available relievers for between that and the next game, or 4 at that point before he put in Ryan Fernandez. And so you're telling me that you're going to go and hope Ryan Fernandez. So wait, which one of these 4 guys do you want in? Do you want Ryan Fernandez? Do you want Chris Roycroft? Do you want John King? I think those are the 3 other options right then. It's like, you think one of those guys is more equipped for that situation? Like, I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe anyone believes that they want to see John King there. Or they want to see Roycroft, or they want to see Fernandez, especially how bad he's been. And then you bring them in, and if they blow the game and go to extras, then you've got 2 arms left in the bullpen, and you have a game tonight. And I know you managed to win the games, but you have to keep in mind you have a season, and it's a game right now, like 8, 10, 9.
Game 9. Yeah.
Game 9. And it's like, it's Ryan Helsley. Okay. Like, if he doesn't come through there, it sucks, but you move on. And you don't have a fully loaded bullpen to go to. You've played 3 extra inning. Well, at that point now, 3 extra inning games in a week. And again, you just had to burn through your bullpen in the game before and in tonight's game too. Like, I hate when people blame Ollie for dumb stuff like that, where it's like, tell me a better solution. And the solution they tell you, it's like, well, you're not even acknowledging all these other ramifications that came with it. But, you're muted, Sandy.
There was no way around it. And I mean, like, if he brings in John King and Devers takes him 450 dead center and they walk us off in the 9th, it's like, oh, was that better? We still got walked off, but like, he tried to bring in someone else. I just don't get it. Like, if anyone else comes in the game, he's wrong because he didn't go to his best guy. And if he leaves Helsley, and he's wrong because Helsley didn't do his job. Like, his job is to lock down the game. I'm sorry. That's your job. You're the closer of the team. Lock the game down. Like, that's all Ollie's supposed to do. He's supposed to go to Helsley. The whole goal of this team, the construction of this roster and this bullpen, is get a lead, bridge to the 9th, let Helsley lock it down. You're supposed to be able to shorten the game with Ryan Helsley on your team.
Yeah.
So if Ryan Helsley doesn't get the save, that's just objectively not Ali Marmol's fault. There's nothing else he can do. Yeah. I get the I get the frustration. I don't get the criticism though, because Ali can't walk out on that mound and throw strikes. He can't.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to. He's not on the roster. Maybe we should put him on there and see. But he's not.
That would
be
incredible if the roster move tomorrow is Ali Marmol is added to the 40-man.
I would laugh so hard.
But then the side of it too, like, yeah, he is one of the best closers in baseball, and so you roll with a guy like that, and it's nice. I do think the bullpen, so it's atrocious right now, but but when you break it down piece by piece, you have pieces. So you do have the closer, because I think we all agree that Ryan Helsley's there. You have Maton, who's short sample size, but like, could he be that 8th inning guy? Could he be the Kittredge? JoJo kind of looks like JoJo again. And so I don't know if it's going to be as good as JoJo last year, but like he's been reliable so far. So if those 3 guys can be back end guys, then what you're really missing here is you're missing those bridges. You're missing last year's Ryan Fernandez and last year's Liberatore and last year's John King. I think those are easier to find than if you didn't have a 9th and 8th and a 7th guy. They got to find it fast, though, because this can spiral. And so whether it's Munoz in the minors, whether it's Fernandez gets back on track, King gets back on track, Roycroft gets on the situations. Again, Leahy's look good, so maybe Leahy needs some of those spots now. They got to figure it out, but it's atrocious right now. I'm not saying it will get fixed, but I do like that some of the important pieces seem to be there. Again, JoJo, CBD, and maybe Liberatore gets moved back into the bullpen. That helps some of it, but we'll see. So, Andrew, your frustration about Iván Herrera not playing every day.
Unlucky.
The baseball gods just decided he can't play every day anymore.
Well, did you guys see the positive news on this or no? Is that just me that's about that? Yeah.
Yeah, you can go ahead and share that though if people don't know.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I saw it from STL Sports Hub. I don't know who originally reported it, but apparently Herrera
was Ollie.
Ollie, okay.
It was Ollie on the ESPN broadcast.
Q&A with Ollie. Yeah, Herrera was moving in the clubhouse with no pain. So, and in the moment, like people were talking about a foot potentially. It sounds like it's a left knee, and I think it's fine. And it came back, scans came back, right? Structurally, no damage. Yep. So, nope. I mean, he could be back in the lineup in like 2 days.
No,
he's going on the IL.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
That's what
but
Ollie
like
said.
no pain, no structural damage. I don't know why you'd be on the IL at that point, but
hopefully it's a shorter stint.
7 days.
Well, Pedro Paez probably shouldn't catch tomorrow because he's caught like, I don't know, 16 straight innings.
Catcher, so
I mean, they're going to make a move tomorrow.
Yeah, they need to add someone to the.
Is it Jimmy Crooks?
I don't think
it's going to be Pozo probably.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be Pozo. If he was out longer, maybe they go to Crooks here.
I was worried we were going to see like 60-day stint from Herrera. I was like, great, he probably broke his foot. Like, I was
for sure. But I'm not quite ready to say it's for sure going to be short. Like, it might not be 60, but like knee inflammation is no joke either. And if you're talking about a catcher, like lower body in general, foot would not have been good, but knees are definitely not a good thing for a catcher to be dealing with right now. So there's a part of me that wonders, like, when he comes back, are they going to be a little bit more hesitant to catch him? Like, is it going to be definitely a 50-50 split? If not, even Paez gets more catching ability. Maybe they do go to Crooks here, and then they got to figure out some kind of weird, get Herrera in the lineup as a DH more often. I've seen some people jokingly say it, and I know that this isn't the true take, but it is kind of funny that they moved the wrong catcher to first base.
They might have.
Yeah. No, they did not. Contreras is supposed to be the better bat. Like,
yeah.
Let's get this straight. Contreras is supposed to be the best hitter on the team.
But his defense is so much better.
Yeah, it is so much better. But
his arm is so much better.
Yeah, I don't know if his defense necessarily is that much better besides his arm. Also, Contreras is so much older, and like, I'm sorry, but if I could protect one bat, I'd rather protect Contreras maybe still right now. Like, it's a small sample. Iván was hot, but Contreras has been your best hitter last year. He was your best hitter the year before. When he's healthy, he's one of the better hitters in the National League. Like, you need him in the lineup, and moving him to first base protects him. You have to do that at this point. He's already shown you he can't stay healthy behind the dish at this point. Some of it's freak injuries. It's kind of weird.
I mean, like, that was the one where JD Martinez just hit him with the bat because he was illegally standing in the batter's box, and then he got like hit by a pitch or something, didn't he?
Yeah,
the other one. Whereas like neither of those. The first one is a weird thing that would have happened. Like, if Iván Herrera was behind the plate, he would have broke his arm too. And and the other one I don't think was a catching related injury. So
yeah, but you're already talking about a guy who's turning 33 in a month. Like, you don't want him playing catcher because you need to know what you have, because he's probably not gonna be your everyday catcher at 34 next year, 35 the year after. Like, you need to know what you have in these guys. You need to know who your everyday guy can be, and you need to know if they're viable, because if they're not, then you got to figure out, maybe you got to sign someone or go to Crooks. Like, you got to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's the same as the pitching thing. I think it's good to have Herrera behind the plate still. And you know what? If Herrera can't, like, if something happens to him, and I don't know.
Can I
remember? Oh, I was going to, sorry, real quick. Remember how Wilson was like a top 20 hitter in all baseball last year?
Yeah.
If you
it makes me so mad that it's been like not even 2 weeks and people are like, move him down.
Oh yeah, and it's ridiculous. Like,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. It's fine. He's batting second, guys. It's okay. If it gets to middle of May or June, like Goldschmidt was, then it's a problem. He's bumped down into like the 25 range or 30s range because of how slow his start's been, if you combine this year and last year. But if you look at Iván Herrera, he's tied for 15th in baseball since beginning of 2024 in our WRC plus. Yeah. He is tied with Mookie Betts and ahead of Bryce Harper.
He's been awesome. He's been awesome.
Like, this dude's batting in the lineup.
Yeah, but it's less at bats, and also, like, last year, the power that Contreras has wasn't there. The power might be there this year. Small sample size, 3 homers in 1 game, but the power.
But if you go back to 2023 and 2022, he's now a career, and that doesn't include today's game, so I don't know, would it be a career 130 WRC plus guy, like 350 plate appearances, which again still isn't enough yet, but that's because they keep not putting him in the lineup. He had that 1 injury last year, now this injury, but then they had him in AAA for a while working on the arm and such. Like, this dude needs to get going.
But. Yeah, and it's not like he's a terrible framer. It's not like he can't block a pitch. Like, he's fine. Kareem's right. He's fine. I don't know if I go as far as Kareem saying you can be a zero thrower. Like, I do think you don't have to be able to throw guys out, but you just have to be able to control it a little bit. But it could be on the pitching staff too. Like,
yeah,
those guys got great jumps. Maybe we're telegraphing stuff, or our pitchers are just slow to the plate. They're really slow to the plate.
Yeah. And the part, like Joe's asking here, like, how hard is it to teach a catcher to be a good catcher? The problem is, like, well, if you actually look at his metrics, he's gotten better at framing and blocking. Like, I haven't checked it the last day or two, but he was like the 80th percentile on both of those this year. He's been stinking good. But 80th means you're not just not bad, you're above average. And even if you just want to give me average, okay, sure, he's average, but like, it's the arm, and that's a whole different ballgame if he's got to build the arm strength up. And they say, and I believe it, that he's working really hard at it. It's just the results aren't there yet. And I do wonder, like, if they integrate the automated ball strike system and challenges, how much framing gets. I think it'll still be important, especially if it's just the challenge system, because you get limited challenges. But it probably starts to become less important. And your blocking will be important still, but like the arm then becomes a real deal where it's like, well, what value could you provide me behind the plate? So he's got to figure it out. I hope, and I think he'll be a catcher long term. Oh no. What happened?
Pozo.
Oh, Pozo?
Yeah.
All right.
It means Herrera's probably not out forever, so it's good.
Let's hope so. So yeah, not great. But
which means I have to do a graphic because it's has he played in the majors before?
I don't think so.
No, not that I know of, unless it was with another team.
Yeah.
So, but the other part of this we haven't really talked about yet is Herrera's been their best bat so far. He's been awesome. So that's a tough loss. The offense clearly is strong still without him, but it's no. You really want all the things going in your favor right now, and having Iván Herrera not on the roster is going to be tough. So, and you got to go to Pittsburgh now. So. Yeah.
The good thing
is he played 21 games with Texas in 2021. So
okay.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Sandy?
The good thing is, like, you're not really worried about the monster lineup Pittsburgh's got. You're gonna have to be able to score some runs.
Oh my gosh. This will be a true test for the pitching in terms of its floor again. Which we saw
He's gonna pitch against us in this series. I thought I heard we were dodging him, but
no, we face him on Tuesday.
Okay.
Which I mean, we're 2-0 against Paul Skeens, so I don't know.
Could be worse.
Don't jinx it. Let's see.
Clayton Kershaw
dominate.
Except Skeens will never go to the playoffs with the Pirates.
So Pittsburgh lineup so far, I'm going to go 1 through 9 WRC plus. 109, 46, 141, 84, 23, -2, 42, 58, 124.
Who's got the -2?
It's a Tommy Pham.
Oh, hey, Tom,
oh no,
Josh, Andrew, and I have higher OPS pluses than you this season.
It's true. Don't say that. He does
Lewinsky's the 23. Brian Reynolds is 46.
I loved when Tommy Pham came back to the Cardinals last year. It was so much fun.
It was electric.
That grand slam was like the most elite return of all time.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
To be fair, Andrew McCutcheon's been pretty good, but he basically plays part-time now. He's not a starter.
I wanted it to be like some Pirates rando. Dang.
Like
the best hitter on the team right now for them is IKF, so that's kind of funny.
That's hilarious.
But
how is that possible?
I don't know. Oh, sorry. No, O'Neal Cruz is the 141, but
O'Neal Cruz is
at 124.
And
then Brian Hayes at 109. Brian Hayes slight bounce back season so far, but Brian Reynolds hasn't been good. So, yeah. So the Cardinals definitely need to take advantage by. I mean, like this bullpen's got to bounce back this series. Rotation has to. You would hope that Sonny Gray is not going to be giving a bunch of home runs to these bats, but you never know.
Hey, Kareem, but a negative number times 5 is a bigger negative number. So that's great.
Gosh. Apparently someone in the chat earlier said we should trade Walker for Pham.
That's insane.
You want that -2 WRC plus on this team?
Walker's been like kind of excited. He's hitting the ball hard.
Yeah. He's batting over 400 going into today. I don't know if today's game or tonight's game. I don't know if it's still there.
Walker grounded out earlier, and I looked at it and I was like, well, at least he grounded out at 106. Can't complain.
Can I be the one to inject optimism into here for once?
Oh, yes.
It's crazy. Is that real?
Yeah. And I mean, when you were talking earlier about like, what were you talking about? Seeing what you've got.
Yeah.
That's what you said. Whatever words you said. So if you want to talk about seeing what you've got, I mean, I've seen enough of this offense. I think I'm done. Like that's all I needed to see. 9 games. I feel like these are pieces you build around, right? And I don't know if that's everybody in this lineup, but you have enough pieces to build around in this lineup. If it's Herrera or Lara.
Really small sample size, dude.
It could be Herrera. It could be Lars Nootbaar. It could be Jordan Walker. It could be Nolan Gorman hasn't really played.
Hurtful. I mean, I was the voice of reason.
Honestly, it was. I don't think I've laughed that hard on our podcast in a while.
Said nothing wrong.
Yeah, it was well played, Andrew. Sorry, I'm totally butchering. Hey, this is also a historic moment. Andrew being the optimist. Yeah, no. I'm killing it.
As the Glazer, I have to be the devil's advocate for a moment.
If it's Victor Scott, that's like everyone is hitting the approach. Everyone's approach looks solid, and I'm sure the league will adjust. But we've seen all of these guys in like other samples play better. Like Walker, it's not like all we've seen of Walker was he was terrible last year. We saw him be a really good hitter in 2023.
Dude, that's one of my long-term takes. I love that.
And we've seen what Lars Nootbaar can do when he's fully healthy, and maybe like he'll finally be healthy and he's going to stop hurting his knee on the outfield wall or whatever. So why can't we put that same energy into the pitching staff, right? I don't want to come back next year and for the front office to say, hey, we don't know what we have in the pitching staff, but we have all of these young hitters.
Yep.
You need to call up Michael McGreevy or Quinn Mathews or whoever as soon as possible to replace Mikolas, trade Eric Fetty. I don't care what you get for Eric Fetty. He's not going to be on the team next year. And if he's on the team next year, that's a terrible mistake.
Yep.
So, like, you just need to give these guys the run where, like, this team could be really good this year. Like, if this team had the pitching it did last year, they would have won 95 games, right? But the pitching is clearly taking a step back. Mikolas is getting
that
worse.
High on the offense.
Well, if the offense hit like this all of last year, we would have won 95 games. We would have won the division. We would have gone to the playoffs.
You're right.
I'm glad you're agreeing.
Well, like even in the first 10 games of the season, even if it was just that, how many more games do they win if they were scoring like this at any stretch?
Oh yeah, 5, 6, yeah, of course.
I don't think they had a 10-game stretch last year where they scored this many runs.
They had a weird stretch right after Contreras went out. where they were like top 8, but it was small, and it was in a really weird part where they fought back to 500. But to your point, like also like when you like starting well helps build momentum for a season, right?
Yeah.
Where this lineup is, so like you're totally right.
So you just have to give these guys the opportunities to pitch, because I mean, even if Quinn Mathews is as bad as Miles Mikolas, at least you know that going into next year. And like you can't. It's so frustrating. I don't understand it. They're going to give Mikolas 10 more starts at least, and it's going to be the worst. But whatever.
Also, part of it too is like you take your lumps a little bit too, where it's like to an extent, like Jordan Walker prevailing now. Again, they could have handled it better for sure. We've talked about that countless times, but like he's also seen a lot of major league pitching now, so now he's been able to work against that. Like get a Quinn Mathews or Michael McGreevy up here, and you see what you have in them, but they also get to grow as pitchers as well with that challenge. And so I think you're totally right. We need to see what's in the pitching. And if they come back this offseason, Chaim Bloom's main objective is I got to bring in 3 veteran starters to fill my rotation because I don't know what these young pitchers are. That's a problem. And I actually
what I'm even more afraid of is if this team is bad, but the offense is good, then you go out next year and you waste another year of ARB of some of these guys. And Chaim Bloom is like, actually, we need to spend this year figuring out what our rotation is going to look like because Mo took too long to DFA Miles Mikolas. And even in the times like Victor Scott didn't play enough last year at the major league level, but that you can already start to see what that experience is doing for him this year. And the same for Mason Wynn in 2023, where he was really good last year. And I don't think he would have been that good if, he didn't have the experience of just being terrible in 2023. I won't worry about it if Quinn Mathews is Miles Mikolas level. I won't worry about it if McGreevy is Miles Mikolas level. They're going to get that experience and probably learn and improve from it for next season. And then you have more names in your rotation that you can go to. And instead of signing 3 of Kyle Gibson and Lance Lynn and Sonny Gray, you can go out and sign. I don't know who's on the market next year.
I mean, look, you need to do more.
Like you can go out and sign a really top tier pitcher. But yeah, you trade Fetty as well.
Yeah, but they're not you're not going to be able to trade Fetty till the deadline at this point. Like they had their opportunity this offseason. They could have traded him and they didn't. They probably could have traded Matz. They didn't.
Or put Fetty in the bullpen. I don't know. Like,
well, you're not going to do that. I mean, I honestly don't even think that's the dumbest thing in the world. I said that once on this podcast more as they could, but they never would. They'll never do that. They have to trade Fetty. They have to get value back for him. And they're not going to do that yet. First off, his value just cratered because he was terrible.
Well, it was one bad starter.
Yeah.
I don't think
that's going to impact his value among people who don't believe that he's going to repeat.
Crater.
Not a ton. But the other thing is there's just not a logical trade partner right now. You're not going to be able to trade him in April. Like teams don't like to make trades in April. It's going to be really hard to trade him at this point until the deadline. So even if you do trade him, you're getting 12 starts back from Fetty. Like DFAing Mikolas is a start, but even if you do that, that's 30 starts right now. If you DFA Mikolas,
and you give 30 starts to McGreevy, I would much rather have that than
McGreevy. You still have no idea what you have in Quinn. You still have
it's better than just keeping him.
You got to do more. Like if you're going to start it, you got to do more.
Well, then your rotation becomes Gray, Fetty, who are 2 veterans. Like Gray is fine. Like I'm not worried about the weird grand slam the other day. And then you have Palante, Liberatore, and McGreevy, and all 3 of those guys you kind of want. Do I think Liberatore is going to stick in the rotation? Probably not. But
yeah, I guess I'm not considering the fact that they can move Libby to the pen and get a bunch of starts for Mathews. Yeah, I'd love to see Roberta make a start or a couple of starts. Like I'm with you. I want to see what you got. But
after tonight, I don't know. After tonight and after last season, I don't think Graceffo is going to be in the rotation. I feel like he should be the 4th guy that they prioritize. And at a certain point, you just move into the bullpen. But
yeah, but I mean, even you talk about creating those opportunities, it's like I like that they're giving Liberatore an opportunity right now. But if it really came down to it, he hasn't he hasn't earned a leash at this point. And if it's we need to see Quinn Mathews, sorry Liberatore, you've been okay, but you're going to the bullpen.
At least 2 more starts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In May, I'm okay. Mikolas is the one right now where it's you should have done that yesterday. You should have DFA'd him
should have traded Fetty yesterday.
Yeah.
Too.
And you should have traded Fetty. But you didn't, so now you're holding on to Fetty till the deadline so you can get real value. Moving to the bullpen, I think would just be bad. Because also, too, if you can't trade him at the deadline, there is a world, even though I think it's weird and I don't like banking on it, but there is a world where he's like similar to how he was last year, and he's a guy you can give him a qualifying offer to next offseason, potentially. So like that's something you hold out for. Yeah.
Because he's going to want a multi-year deal.
Did you look at the contracts that were given out this offseason to Kikuchi and Montas and like, so again, that requires him to be good this year. But like I'm saying, that's also a scenario that and if Fetty ends up being terrible through June, then it's like this is a different conversation.
2023 Eric Fetty, my direct comp for that is like Miles Mikolas, or 2024 Eric Fetty, my direct comp for that is Miles Mikolas the last time he was good in like 22 when he was an all-star.
Why is that?
I don't see the numbers being like
why though?
It's the same model of pitcher. It's the like weak contact.
You can be successful with that.
Yeah,
you can, but I can see that
for 5 years.
But that skill set falls off pretty quickly, I feel.
Yeah, so I'm not extending him, but
I don't want to give him a qualifying offer where he could be like just terrible next year. Right?
You only give someone a qualifying offer if you think they're not going to accept it.
And if he does, it's not the end of the world if you have him on a 1-year deal. I'm not saying that they should. I'm not saying like I hope they get to a scenario where they're qualifying offering him. I'm just saying you don't move into the bullpen because that's even an option right now. But the ideal world is you trade him at the deadline. Like that's the move. You can create space for McGreevy right now. You can get Quinn in May if Liberher's not working out or if an injury happens. Or again, July, that'll open up another rotation spot. I want to see some Sember this year. I might want to see some Graceffo, maybe Roby at some point when he's ready. But like that stuff can wait till July if it has to. But getting Quinn and getting McGreevy into the rotation, the McGreevy now, Quinn in the soon near future is important to your point, Andrew. I do want to hear Sandy, because I want to give my take too. What do you think? Like Andrew's point about he's seen enough from this lineup to believe.
That's exactly where I wanted to go. Yeah.
Do you what do you think?
The results are great. Like first off, before I say anything, the results are great. I'm really excited about it, and some of the underlying stuff's really exciting too. Like the xWOBA of all these guys is off the charts. You got Brendan Donovan, 86th percentile. Pedro Pajes is in the 90th percentile. He's not qualified, but that's really great. Iván Herrera, 100th percentile. He is the best hitter according to xWOBA in baseball to this point this year. It's pretty awesome. Lars Nootbaar's baseball savant page is all red. Literally the whole page except for his arm value is red. That looks like really great. You know, like if Lars Nootbaar maintains this production, he is a top 50 player in baseball. He is one of the better players in baseball. That's awesome. Yep. It's a lot to love. Wilson Contreras will be good this year. Like he will hit well. Mason Wynn might be figuring it out, might not be, but he's going to play good defense at shortstop, and you can live with Mason Wynn being slightly below league average offensive player. I think we're a little bit jumping the gun a little bit with Victor Scott here. I'm excited by what I've seen. Like I feel like he's battling at the plate. I feel like he looked overwhelmed last year. He looks like he's battling. He's hanging in there. I've watched him draw a couple of great walks this year, and that always gets me excited. I love to see that. And he's got a lot of stuff that's good, you know. Chase rate's really low, which is awesome. His walk rate is above average. The defense, very good so far. At least his range is 98th percentile, but small sample for defense. xWOBA for Scott is currently 294, which is slightly below league average. So I guess people think he's getting a little bit lucky, but like, hey, it's been fun. He's already got a home run this year, which is pretty awesome. Like didn't do that last April. So there's some stuff to like there too. I'm excited about this offense. Burleson's been all right too. He's been pretty good. Lucan Baker's pretty good in the sample he's got. So there is a lot to like. I just think the sample sizes on some of these are pretty small. The only ones I'm like totally buying right now are Lars Nootbaar and Brendan Donovan. But I think that's information we kind of already knew. I do want to see more. Like it's just if we're sitting here in 2 weeks and like Jordan Walker's still killing it and Victor Scott still has the results, even if the underlying metrics aren't as good, if he still has the results in 2 or 3 weeks, it's like, hey, maybe this is a guy that can outperform that because he's so fast, you know, because he puts pressure on defenses. Maybe he's the type of guy that can do that. Walker is swinging the fastest bat in baseball right now too, which is awesome. 100th percentile bat speed. So that's pretty cool. Swinging hard. He's making some loud contact. Maybe I'm a little more sold on him than some of these other breakouts too. And I mean, Herrera is awesome. One more thing, I guess, like the big development for us is Pajes actually good? If Pajes is actually good, this would be really fun because it'd be an embarrassment of riches offensively if all these guys suddenly came through. But we'll see.
I think he's an awesome backup catcher. TBD on if and maybe a low end starter, but that's
we're gonna see what it looks like though.
Well, yeah,
he's gonna be in the lineup. We're gonna see. We're gonna get a chance to get information on Pi.
So, like, long story short, sorry, I said that in a way, like, I feel like you say long story
cautiously
short,
optimistic.
Like, I was saying, like, with all that, you're cautiously optimistic, and Andrew's like bought in.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm totally bought in. Like, there's a world though. There's a world where like there's a world where Victor Scott's results regress back to what the underlying stats are. There's a world where like Iván Herrera's hurt, and there's a world where Pedro Pajes isn't that great. I like Pajes. I'm having fun watching him right now, but like the sample's so small. Nolan Gorman is not playing right now, so that stinks. There's a world where like I know that's what I'm saying. Like you don't get to watch him right now, so we have no idea what's going on there. But like there's a world where a lot of this stuff regresses. There's a world where Jordan Walker he's still hitting the ball on the ground a lot. 2nd percentile in launch angle sweet spot percentage. Like he's still hitting the ball into the ground. But right now it's working, and he's elevated it a few times enough to do some damage.
I mean, it's a weird stat to start off the season with, but I think the Cardinals are now 2nd all time in the most 10 hit games to start a season.
It's good stuff. It means guys are putting the ball in play. We're not striking out a lot as a team. I love it.
Like, these are things that I feel like, I mean, obviously I don't think Lars Nootbaar is going to be hitting 400 the entire year.
Yeah.
But like, I think he can have a high 800s OPS? Sure. I mean, look at his Savant page over the last couple of years. I definitely could see that for Lars Nootbaar, which that's a bat that you build around.
Yep.
Do I think Victor Scott is going to be hitting 350? No, but his chase rate so far has been really, really good. And his peripherals, like his exit velos, aren't going to be the highest in the league, but with the speed that he has, you don't really need that. And if he can draw walks, which he just wasn't doing at all last year.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
If he can get on base by any means, that's almost as good as a double, right, for Victor Scott, because he can just steal second base. So I don't really care if he gets on base. Right. And if there's someone on, then that's even better, right? Like then you at least have like first and second. And so I'm not really worried about that. Brendan Donovan is a known commodity, so that's fine. He's going to be a contributing bat. And Iván Herrera, like, is like, if you look starting in last season, he's the best offensive catcher in that span. And obviously he has far fewer at bats than all the other guys that are on that list. But I feel like it's a large enough sample now where you can say with confidence that that's a bat that you can at least rely on, and to be one of the, like, to be a contributor, and then if not a middle of the order bat at some point in the future. Jordan Walker, we saw what he can do at the end of 2023. At the end of 2024, I kind of saw it a little bit, and his swing looks so much different. He's not chasing those sliders anymore, and I don't think that's just going to magically come back. You know, I don't think he's just going to develop that issue again throughout the rest of the season, because he's been working on it all off season, and you're seeing results against maybe not the toughest pitchers. Maybe we'll see how he does against Paul Skeens on Tuesday, but you don't have to be like, no one's going to hit Paul Skeens, right? Like, if the Cardinals break their streak of 10 consecutive or 10 hit games against Paul Skeens, I'm not really going to care, because Paul Skeens is going to do that to everyone. So like, if you have 4 or 5 legitimate bats and the rest of them are around average, like if Burleson I think is going to be above average. We kind of saw that last year. And who else? Like Mason Wynn, slightly below average. Like even if he's slightly below average, he was above average last year. That's a very, very solid lineup with not a lot of easy outs. And we're not even talking about Contreras yet, who, I mean, like, please don't start with the move him down. He had a great spring. Like when you look at Goldie last year, he had a terrible spring as well. But he had a great spring, and his swings have been looking better. Like he had a couple of hits today that looked like he was seeing the ball a little bit better. And I feel like he's 1 or 2 games away from like really turning into what we think he can be. And also, I'm not worried about Contreras, because he's not going to be on this team when they open their championship window. So you're going to have other guys,
unless it's open this year or next year.
But I mean,
but like, go ahead. You're still going.
I mean, it's just frustrating to see that just how bad the pitching has been. Because if the bullpen was even like half as good as it was last year, this team would be like 7-3, and whatever.
Well, I mean, they're 4-5 right now, and the bullpen clearly blew the first game today. So you could say 5-4. They clearly blew one of the games against the Angels. I'll blame entirely on the bullpen. So like 6-3, but I don't know if it'd be any
That's
better.
That's still really good.
Really good. That is really good. That's a big difference. But I don't know. I mean, I think like people don't want to hear this right now because it's been so little fun. Because after since the end of the Twin series, when we were all excited and all like feeling all warm and fuzzy inside, and it was nice. Since the end of that, Cardinals are 1-5. You know, like they dropped a series at home to the Angels, and then we got our butts kicked in Boston, you know, but
and it's all Ollie's fault.
3 of the losses,
everyone on Twitter,
3 of the losses are just garbage losses.
Yeah. Bring back the Twins. I want to play the Twins every series.
3 of the losses are just absolute gut punches where, you know, I mean, and the sequencing matters too, because if the Cardinals open the season 1-5 and then 1-3 in a row, we'd be like, all right, they're getting it together. You know, we'd be having a lot more fun on here than, can't believe I just watched that.
I mean,
true.
They're doing. I mean, we came into the season and we're like, they're not going to be good. They're not going to make the playoffs. Well, the only person who picked them to make the playoffs was Sandy, and that's just because it's a bit. And I don't think you actually thought they were going to make the playoffs.
I thought they might. Look, I still am not like out on this team in terms of like they could make some noise. The offense is good. The offense is really fun to watch. Maybe the offense sucks in a month, but right now it's really fun and it's pretty good. And I do think there are lasting signs that say this could be good. Like there's the start of something for sure. But I don't know. Thank you, Samuel. I hope I do look really smart when the Cardinals win the World Series. Everyone else is sad.
So. When the A's make the wild card, and
hey, the A's have pieces.
I want to
ascension.
I want to give Andrew's flowers because he just went off on this like beautiful rant and soliloquy about the offense. I can't I want to give a big stamp of approval to what you're saying. And it's not. I'm not even just being like because you're optimistic. I thought it was just spot on. Like I think you're right. I think you're pointing out something that a lot of people are probably too cautious to say right now. I don't think you or Sandy were saying they are for sure going to be a top 5 offense this year. I don't think anyone was saying
no.
But what I do think we can see at this point, I think it's fair to say, is they're not going to be historically bad with runners in scoring position.
Nope,
which
not.
Matters big time for winning games, whether or not you get a hit when a runner is on second and third. Like you cannot be a super great offense and score more runs if you just simply drive people in when they're in scoring position. That matters.
Okay, after the JC 3-run homer today, I don't remember if they had one in the first game or not. If they didn't, then they're 1 3-run homer away from tying the amount they had last year.
See, it
is April 6th.
Yep. Well, I mean, last year the Cardinals had a double with the bases loaded or something in early April, and that was the same amount of extra base hits. It was like they'd already hit the same amount of extra base hits with RISP that they did in 2023. Yeah. Like that's a multi-year problem too.
It's different. That doesn't happen. Like if the offense is just marginally better, that like we would be talking about that in July.
It could be just a generational insanity run hot streak.
I mean, they'll probably if they hit a 3-run homer in the next series, which they might. I feel like the Pirates, aside from Skeens, the 2 starters they're facing are bad enough where
it's a fun anecdotal stat. Like I'm with you on that, and it points at a larger trend. I'm just saying, we have to wait a little longer. I think
to say they're not historically bad with runners. They're not going to be historic.
They're definitely not historically bad.
But so this is why I want to build upon Andrew's point. Is the reason I think we can say we have optimism in this offense is they're not going to be historically bad with runners in scoring position. I know the bar is low, but that was the point. It was that bad last year.
Yeah. They're definitely better.
Second, your only 2 great hitters last year played in 84 games and 72 games. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get more games from Wilson Contreras and Iván Herrera this year. I would hope so. We'll see.
Well,
I hope so.
With Iván now.
But I do think. But you add in Lars Newbarn to that mix. You add in Brendan Donovan, or could Jordan Walker be that guy? I think you're going to have maybe 3 of those kind of bats this year that play most of your games, which matters. Then you look at the guys who were quote unquote good with 500 to 600 plate appearances, it was Donovan, who's 15% above average, Nootbaar, who's 14. Then it drops all the way down to Burleson at 6% above league average, Wynn 3% above league average, Arenado 2% above league average, Goldschmidt 100, so league average. I think you're going to have guys this year who are ranging in the 130s, 140s with, I think that's the Herrera, Nootbaar, Contreras range between 140 and 125. And then I think you're going to have multiple guys in the 112 to 118 range that help fill out that lineup. And then you're not, what I think we can probably say at this point is you're not going to get 334 plate appearances from a guy who's 40% below league average in Michael Ciani. You're not going to get 138 plate appearances from Dylan Carlson's 50% below league average. You're not going to get hopefully a guy who's getting 400 plate appearances, Nolan Gorman, who's 15% below the average.
I think to presume health, like there is a world where Lars Nootbaar gets hurt next week and Ciani's playing center field every day.
Well, and that changed, but that's the thing. It's like, okay, yes, health. So like I mean, we could say at the Dodgers right now, if like Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman go out, it's a different team. So I give you that as like a caveat, but I think what we can say now is you're not going to have these black holes in the lineup that are playing every day. Hopefully, you're probably going to have more. Like, I'm not saying no one's going to be below league average, but you're not going to have a 60 foot WRC plus guy in the lineup. You're going to have like an 85, 90. That's a difference. Even if it doesn't sound
Lars
good,
Nootbaar gets hurt next week, you have Koperniak just sitting there, and I don't think he's going to be that good, right? Like,
we'll see.
Let's wait. Like, we got to see that.
But then
but I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's going to be generationally bad, you know? Like,
I don't think so either. I think he'd be like at least close to replacement level.
So,
all
but
I'm
I think just let me wrap it up real quick. Like, you're going to have 2 to 3 bats, I think, in that great range who play a lot of games for you, barring injury again. But I think you're going to have that. You're going to have more guys in the good range, which you need, and you're not going to really have as deep of a floor with certain guys in the lineup anymore, which matters. And then you even look at like the DH situation. Last year, you had Burleson playing every day because you honestly had to have him play every day. Now you've got Luke and Baker, who you put those two guys together are both like 120 to 130 to like maybe not 130 for Burleson right-handed pitching, but can be like 15 to 20% above the average against righties in Burleson. And the same thing, if not better, from Baker from the left side. You've got balance. You've got the ability to hit left-handed pitching now. I think this can be a top like 13, 12 offense with the upside of being better, but I don't think it gets worse than 15, 16. And again, last year, I think they ended up finishing middle of the pack total offense, but the problem was the risk was so bad that it didn't matter. Like, you're going to see this team be at least an average risk team, if not better, with all these other pieces. So that's where I'm buying into the offense. And to the point too, where it's like, it's not the rotation where you look at it and you're like, where's the upside? There is upside all over this lineup. Now there's a floor that we saw last year, but I think they've moved past that, and I think Brant Brown's a huge piece of that.
The floor is lower or is higher this year.
Yeah, and at the very least, I think what Brant Brown's brought into this is if you're not hitting, like at least even when Wilson Contreras is the one guy who had a stretch where it was abysmal, but even Mason Wynn was drawing walks and getting on base. I think this team could be a top 10 offense this year. I kind of want to say it's going to be a top 10 offense, but I think at least I can confidently say it's going to be league average or better. And the same with runners in scoring position, which is a massive step forward from last year.
I totally agree. I think you and Andrew were asking and addressing different questions, though. Andrew's saying, is this a good offense? And you're saying, is this better than last year? I consider like top 10 is good. 10 to 20 is like solid. Top 12 is good. Like 12 to 20 is like average to below average, and 20 to 30 bad. I mean, you're dividing it into 3 tiers: good, medium, bad, right? Like, is it a good offense is very different than is it better than last year? Yes, it's definitely better than last year. I wouldn't argue with you at all. Is it a good offense? Maybe. I think it could be. I think there's all the tools in the world to be a good offense.
Yeah.
I mean, if these guys continue to play like this is a top 5 offense, right?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
That's awesome.
For sure.
That's awesome. All those things are possible. And we know it's possible because we're seeing it right now. And you still have, like, Gorman's going to get healthy eventually. What if he continues to be the guy he was in his one game? You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of exciting things.
2 games.
Jay-Z came up today and homered, right? Like, that was awesome. So Jay-Z was great today. If he continues to hit, if he gets another chance, you know, all those things are possible. I'm just saying there's still absolutely a world where this offense is mediocre. Mediocre is way better than last year. The other thing is, like, I think you can operationalize this really easily by just evaluating each player on a binary code. Am I glad they're up at the plate, or do I hate watching them hit? Last year, there were, like, we'll code it as 1 means I'm glad they're here. 0 means I could skip this at bat and I don't want to watch it. Last year there were a lot of zeros in the lineup. This year there's not. Like
I don't think there's a single one.
Yeah, actually,
maybe Contreras right now,
but like
not.
But like in a vacuum, like
I'm still excited when Contreras comes to the plate in a big situation because I know he's that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. This lineup's average score is like a 1 or like a 0.9, whereas last year it was probably like a 0.3. So that's a great thing.
The only one the only one, weirdly enough, that I'm hesitant to see at the plate is Arenado, because his ex-WOBA is like 200 points lower than his WOBA.
Yeah, but Arenado seems to have some of his bat speed back. Like there's some signs, there's some indicators that things are going well, and the results have been good so far. So
yeah, I feel like a lot of his hits though have been like really fluky.
Well, I also, I mean, you could look, I mean, it's fair to say that, and maybe this is the glass half full, but I also think some of it's like, he's not trying to pull a ball that you can't pull, where he's like, but that pitch outside, he's just trying to dink it right up the middle or the other way.
He's also not striking out. So
yeah. I mean, it was like he had a double today off the Green Monster that would have been a pop-up in a different park.
Well, good thing we're playing in Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, the hit that Boston walked us off on probably was a fly out at Bush.
Yeah.
That's just how it works when you play there.
But I also think it's like last year with all those issues that Arenado had, he was barely above league average as a hitter. So it's like I think he's shown he's better than last year at this point. So is he probably 10% above the average this year? I think that's, again, like you have all these incremental to potentially big improvements across the board. It really helps that lineup out. I think I agree with you, Sandy, where it's like, yeah, I gotta say it's maybe a good lineup right now, because again, there's a world where 2 weeks from now we're like, they can't hit.
They suck.
But and also there will be a stretch this season, because it is with every lineup where they will go cold. It will happen. But I do think I'm bordering on, I feel like it's fair to say, like, it depends on where you define good. If top 10's good, then I'm hesitant. Top 13, 14 is where I'm like, I feel like they're pretty safe to say a top 15 offense to the NL for sure. We do know that.
Can't argue with that one, Rally.
Can't argue with that one.
Last year, maybe not, though. I might have had my money on, I don't know, some AAA team.
Memphis Redbirds above them.
Well, not the Memphis Redbirds last year, but
yeah.
I mean, like with this lineup, when healthy, I think there's only like 2 hitters that you can say are maybe going to be below average, which are Scott and Wynn.
Yeah.
I feel like Walker, I feel like is pretty safe to be above league average, because he was that in 23, and then last year was weird. I don't count last year for Walker, because he was struggling forever.
I don't think you can say 7 of the 9 lineup spots have floors over 100.
Well, floors, but like I'm saying, like the average production you're going to get out of Lars Nootbaar, Donovan, Contreras, Arenado, Walker, and Burleson, and and Herrera are going to be over league average, and then you have 2 guys that are like maybe
one player, sure.
Well, I mean, I guess it wasn't even a year ago. It was a little over a year ago that we were saying that 1 through 9, the floor was basically league average outside of Mason Wynn. And so I don't really think like
Goldie fell off, and like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, to Sandy's point is like, I don't, when you say, I don't think you can say that. I think part of it's like, I think we might be able to. We just came off like the weirdest, crappiest year, which is fair. It's like, well, then that is the floor. It's like, well, yeah, I guess so. But also, like, I think we were all saying like Turner Ward's bad last year, and people the B writers, it's fine. They were like, yeah, well, is he really? I'm like, I think we were right. I think Brant Brown is a real difference.
Let's hope. The sample is so small. I gotta see more. I gotta see him do it for a month.
You could probably take Turner Ward's best 10-game stretch, and it would have been probably similar, if not worse, than this.
Yeah, but it's such a small stretch. It's just like, you could take 4 games from a random Nolan Gorman hot streak and be like, he's the best hitter I've ever seen.
Yeah, but was the rest of the team that good?
But all I'm saying is, if I'd never watched baseball before, and all I watched was that, I'd be like, wow, Nolan Gorman is one of the greatest players of all time. If I'd never watched baseball before and I watched these 9 games from the Cardinals, I'd be like, wow, this team's awesome. Like, they hit a lot, they slug, they never strike out. But if these 9 games are followed by 25 games where it's like the Cardinals are scoring an average of 3.1 runs per game, and it feels like they just can't scratch a run across at times, and they're getting shut out a couple times a week, like, it'd be really different. So we just have to see more. We have to see it for a while. I think like Kareem has said earlier, you just have to see it for a month. Like, give me the end of April, and it's like, maybe, well, yeah, if they're doing this at the end of April, like, I'm excited, because that's a big sample when you put all these at bats together. You know, it's easier to grade out teams earlier than it is individual players.
Yeah, but I do think, again, we're talking about, I think that if I'm not mistaken, this is the youngest lineup in baseball right now.
That's nice.
and it's the young guys are producing. I also think a really encouraging sign for all of us who have been, which rightfully so, we've been hammering on player development as a negative. 9 of the 13 position players on the roster right now are like signed or were drafted by the Cardinals as an international free agent. They were drafted by them. And it's 10 if you want to count Thomas Saggese being acquired in a trade. It's 11 if you want to count Nolan Gorman into that equation. And then you look at the pitching staff, and it's all external arms except for your middle relievers and Andre Palante.
Well, Palante and
so,
but
I'm saying, well, Liberatore is traded for technically, but then so outside of Palante and your Leahys and Brian Helsley, Graceffo, Roycrofts, like it is interesting to see like they've developed this lineup, and so I think it's something to watch moving forward, and I'm intrigued by.
Well, like you got swept. You got swept, but you got swept by the Red Sox. And if I want to get swept by one team this year, it's the Red Sox.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about the fact that the Red Sox had, I had
to get swept by one of these teams. I was like,
hour 2 of the podcast is us glazing Heim Blue.
I'd love to glaze Heim Blue. I'm ready for it. But I mean, I don't want to get swept by the Red Sox because it means we're gonna get swept by the rest of the AL East too when we play them. Like,
didn't we have weren't we like 12-3 against the AL East last year or something crazy?
Probably. We were such a weird team.
I remember
we were odd.
We just like cooked the AL East.
We swept the Orioles. I remember that. All 3 games, and all 3 were rain delayed. That was fun.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm going to say one more thing because I feel like we're reaching a logical endpoint here. But Samuel Howe's comment is absolutely correct here. Like the Cardinals need stars too. That's the other problem. You can have a lineup with a bunch of guys that are slightly above average, but
I feel like you have at least 2 all-stars.
I hope so. But right now the sample's so small on these guys. The only guy you can look at, and even Herrera, looking at him and saying like, this guy is 40% above league average hitter. Like that's who he is as a player. It's possible that he's not that good. It's possible he's like a 120 guy, and that's still not an all. That's not.
If he's a 120 guy at catcher, guess what? All-star voters do not look at pop time.
Quinn Mathews, I love you so much. I would love to see you.
But again, like that's part of the optimism of this offense is that like again, if Contreras, Nootbaar, and Herrera aren't like if there's some combination or someone else rises that aren't all-star level bats or close to it, then like this lineup isn't as good as we think it is because it is full of a bunch of average guys. But I do think it's like, I mean, to the point if we need all-stars, like I think we can probably mostly agree that Wilson Contreras is an all-star caliber bat. We think Iván Herrera and Lars Nootbaar could be that, which is, so you have those. You don't have a superstar, and that is kind of a problem. But like, we're talking about, that's a long-term issue that we're talking about. Because none of us think Sandy thinks they're a World Series contender, but I don't think any of us actually think they're a World Series contender, right? So, also, sorry, I was yawning during the podcast.
Even just making the playoffs, like, I looked through a bunch of different publications, top 50, top 100 players lists this season. Like MLB put out theirs, right? Or like MLB at Bat had one. ESPN had one. CBS, Fox, Foolish Baseball released his top 50 and his joke top 50.
Yeah.
You know how many Cardinals I saw in all of those top 50s put together? 0. There were only 4
you know why?
that didn't have a top 50 player in the league on any of these. And it was the Cardinals, the Rockies, the Marlins, and somebody else. And I was like, honestly, you could argue like Sandy Alcantara, maybe you could argue like it's just like, it's frustrating. It is hard. And
would you rather have like all above
production at one spot?
Would you rather have all above average hitters in your lineup and nobody's a true star? Or would you rather be the Pirates and have Paul Skeens or the Angels and have Mike Trout and the rest of your team is just terrible?
Well, obviously I'd rather have all dudes. But there's not a single good team that doesn't have multiple stars. Like,
right. And the reason those lists don't have top 50 is because like none of the guys on the Cardinals are really proven over long stretch. Like Lars Nootbaar has always been
it's part of it.
What will happen if he stays healthy? And if he stays healthy, he's a top 50 player. But he just hasn't been healthy.
And also we're talking about a young lineup. Nootbaar's in his fourth is 3 years of service time. Herrera's a year of service time. Walker is over a year of service time. Like these guys could develop into that.
Absolutely,
you need to see that.
It's totally possible. All I'm saying
it's a fair critique that they don't have it right now.
You got to have a guy that can like carry you through a series where you're bad. And I think Herrera can be that guy. Like Herrera won a game against the Angels with his bat, and it was awesome. And I mean, he sure looked like he almost was going to win us a game against the Red Sox with his bat too in that first series. Like that was awesome. It's possible. He might be that guy. Contreras can be that guy if he gets, and he's going to get it together. It's going to happen. I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, above average production at each spot is great, but you do need to have like a couple of studs to elevate your lineup. I think
that's what free agency is for, and trades, right? Like
you have these guys would go out and sign a top 50 bat in free agency,
but also like you don't have
pitching money, but.
Again, but still, like I think if we're seeing from Contreras last year and Vaughn last year, and what we've seen from Nootbaar when he's on the field is those guys are studs. Like they can be those kind of things. They don't get the recognition of they're not Soto level, they're not Tatis level. They don't get the recognition of guys, but they're not like so far behind either. Again, when someone's going to take,
I don't know. Lars Nootbaar is better OPS.
That's what I was about to say. Someone's going to take that out of context and act like I said he's
Lars Nootbaar is essentially Juan Soto, except he's not being paid.
Because I think the way you're boiling it down to, which is fair, is you can't have a bunch of league average bats. But we're not talking about potentially just a league average lineup. We're talking about a lineup that has 3 guys that are great, 3 guys that are good, and potentially 2 or 3 guys that are average or barely below league average. So not just a bunch of guys who are average, but like you have that line. There's different ways to construct it, and you're not. No one's the Dodgers right now. So like,
I got to see an extended run. Then I got to see an extended run.
Fair. That's fair.
Any of them. I got to see Contreras get it together. I got to see Nootbaar be healthy on May 31st. And be still at 20 to 25% above league average bat. And I got to see Herrera get back in the lineup, get healthy again, and keep mashing. And when those things happen, the ceiling because if they don't have a star, the ceiling for this lineup is like 8th or 9th best, which is awesome. That's a really, really good lineup. That's the ceiling if everything goes right except having a star. If you get some stars, you could be borderline top 5 offense.
So last point to Andrew though, like, and so people are like small market, 10 pull bats about the homegrown, whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, right now they're trimming down payroll. I do believe they're going to get back to a place where they are in that 12th, the 10th range in baseball payroll wise. Guess who they were paying $25 million a year to when they started paying him to was not cheap, but it wasn't necessarily the highest paid player in baseball, but it was expensive. Paul Goldschmidt. They're paying again. They got money back on Nato, so I get that. But Arenado is making $30+ million right now. Sonny Gray's making 25 this year and 35 next year.
They can sign.
Michael's about to come off the books and he's 18. Contreras makes 18 right now. Steven Matz makes 12.5. When you have a homegrown lineup and a homegrown rotation full of guys that are contributors, you can go out and spend money on a couple big guys to supplement that. To Andrew's point, their problem was that in the 2000s to 2010s, they were able to go trade and re-sign Matt Holliday, or able to go out and get Ozuna. I think they would have tried to extend him if he was good here. They traded for Paul Goldschmidt and extended him. They gave him that contract. Nolan Arenado, they traded for a huge contract. They would re-sign Edmonds and Pujols and Edmund or Roland. They did that stuff. And then the base that they were so good at deteriorated to the fact that it's like, oh crap, we don't have a 3rd or 4th starter. We have to go sign Steven Matz or Miles Mikolas. They didn't have to sign those guys. They could have done something better, but they did those things. They're back to having potentially a base, which allows you to go be aggressive and do those things. Again, they could spend more money than what they do. We get that side of it, but if they're going to operate within their parameters, Chaim Bloom's the right guy to build that kind of foundation. And he's got more to work with starting in St. Louis than he did in Boston. And in Boston, it was Barron, and on the major league roster, it was Bogarts and Devers, with the only young guys that really there. It was old, expensive roster. They trade away Mookie Betts, and they had no farm system. And he's turned them into what we just saw the Cardinals get swept by.
Yeah. Well, and it's like if you have $60 million to build your rotation, you could give everybody $12 million and you could have 5 Steven Matz. Or you could develop 3 homegrown starters, pay 1 Corbin Burns, and pay 1 Nathan Eovaldi, like someone pretty good for a 2. Like you could do that with your money. So I mean, it's money. Just spending money to spend money is kind of what the Cardinals were doing in the 2010s, and it wasn't working. And when you're the Yankees, like you can get away doing that because like the Carlos Rodon contract is probably going to suck, but like it's a drop in the bucket for the Yankees, probably, at least to some extent, you know. Yeah. But the Cardinals, like, oh, they couldn't stand up under that contract. It'd be horrible. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, that's all. But I mean, we're off topic. The point
we can get that stuff later.
The point is, we got swept. It was sad.
Yeah.
Not
I love
having
how
to-
we started this conversation like, and then by the end of it, we're like, the future is so bright. But
well, I mean, we're a positive group of guys. You know, we are big Cardinals fans. We're proud. I'm always gonna. It's group therapy. We work through the 5 stages of grief. Just happened. Now we're at acceptance.
And also, I don't feel like the chat's killing us for it either, because I think we're not trying to convince anyone.
Only real ones are still here after 85 minutes.
Oh no,
we got 100 in here right now, so it's fun.
I spent the weekend feeling so bad that I got Sandy flamed on TikTok and preparing my own.
So me on Twitter.
Wait, hey, should we give him a moment to potentially give a rebuttal?
I mean, most of the people that were like, I saw like Phillies fans and Dodgers fans being like, "Hey, our tickets aren't that small," and I'm like, "Yeah, you guys don't have an attendance problem, so it doesn't matter."
Yeah, what I want to say to maybe clarify the short statement that was on TikTok is look.
This is not, by the way, the people who are watching that TikTok are not going to see this because
I don't care. I just want to say that I'm not talking to people with kids. I'm a 22-year-old independent podcast co-host. Okay. I'm 22. I don't have a family. I'm not bringing 4 kids and a wife to the ballpark. Secondly, you don't have to line the DeWitt's pockets if you don't want to, but you can still go to the games without lining their pockets. Buy Chick-fil-A on the way down. It's way better than the food in the stadium.
Also, you can buy your tickets from third-party sites like SeatGeek.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah.
To the people that accused me of trying to line my own pockets, because I'm totally a billionaire trying to get rich off you going to the Cardinals games. To the people that accuse me of that, if you don't want to use SeatGeek, you can go on StubHub. I've used Vivid Seats before. I'll admit it. Okay.
Oh, you're a Game Time user, aren't you? Hey, seriously though, use that code Newt News on SeatGeek, get $20 off purchase $50 or more. So.
And hey, to the people that actually are bringing 4 kids and a wife to the ballpark, that'll apply to your $50 order. So how about that?
Also, apparently, I'm pretty darn sure you can take. Kareem. I'm never using that code. Wow, Kareem. I'm pretty sure you can take food into the ballpark now.
You can. And I have taken a sandwich I made at my house to the ballpark, and it was still pretty good. And it was every bit as good as whatever I would have bought at home plate. Okay. Like the food in the ballpark is all right. It's whatever. It's not so good that you got to spend money on it. Go to some local eat downtown. Support some good like mom and pop downtown. St. Louis has a lot of good food. I love St. Louis so much. There's a lot of great places to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've got. Still go to the game. The games are so fun. To the people that are like, "Oh, why do I want to pay all this money to watch a crappy product?" It's like, it's fun to just be there. I just like being in the ballpark in a big crowd, like having fun, because it's better than sitting on my couch. I know that game experience is better on your couch, but like, I want to be social. I want to be out. I want to do things. And I think that's a lot of fun. So that's my take. Like, I shouldn't have to convince you. We're consumers, but we're also fans, and it's fun to be around the team, and it's fun to be around a place that I grew up going, and I have a lot of nostalgia associated with Busch. I used to go with my grandpa. Like, it was awesome. I want to be there.
I think there's a part of it though too that's difficult, where it's like, I mean, like you guys, right now you're school, but like you guys have lived in the St. Louis area, but like I live 2.5 hours away. And so it's like when I go to a game, I have to plan for it. And like again, right now but I'm saying like there's other people that even where it's like, hey, money's in like it's a tight economy. We get it. Like and everyone's in different financial situations. Some people like genuinely like dropping $10 means something. Like and I know you're not disagreeing with that, but then you also add that dynamic too, where it's like, again, obviously like these days, like Busch Stadium doesn't sell out, so there will be a ticket available. But some people are like, man, like I can't, like I have to plan on July 8th that I'm gonna go to a game, and I have to buy my ticket now, and it's not that cheap when I'm trying to buy it that far. It's like, so it is so multifaceted, and I know you acknowledge that in the video. The short clip can't do that because there's no way to get that complex of a point across in short form content, and I think people it's just frustrating that people like don't always understand that, and it's like they blame it on clickbaiting, and it's like, well then like it's impossible to do short form content then, because
it has to be clickbaity. I have to get you to click on the short content. Like
it's like here's your that was a main point you made, but you also gave context to it, and it's like, well, they're like, I don't want to listen to the podcast, and it's like, okay, well, guess what? Then you don't get to hear the full. That's the point of the podcast, is you get the whole context.
Well, like, look. Cardinals fans in Arkansas, Tennessee, Indiana, Southern Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, y'all are the salt of the earth. I'm so glad we've got Cardinals fans out there. You're the best. You're making sure that people are watching good baseball in those states. Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm so glad you're out there. I'm not talking to you. When you guys come to the game, that is icing on the cake. You know, if you're driving up with the family from Little Rock for the weekend, like that's icing on the cake. I'm glad you're here. Enjoy your weekend in St. Louis. I'm talking to the people in St. Louis that are my age, that are on Twitter mouthing off about how I don't want to go to the game and I don't want them to think I like the team. Those are the people I'm talking to.
Which I think is fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay. We're at hour 30. This has been a long one, boys.
Thanks for sticking with us to the real.
Yeah, 103 still in it right now. It's just fun. So hey, again, we're at I think 20 likes right now. So if you're in here, it really helps the channel a ton if you've enjoyed this. We've talked for an hour and a half, and I promise you, we don't make much money off this. So it is not like you're not lining our pocketbooks. We're doing this out of the joy of our heart, that's for sure. But it does help for people to discover. It helps the channel out a ton when you'd like. Comment down below later as well. Share it with someone you know. It's really fun when we hear from people that's like, oh yeah, someone shared this podcast with me. Again, we just try to give you our authentic takes the whole year long, and we try to be fair and realistic, but we also are fans as well. And you can support us by supporting 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. You can support us by downloading Underdog. You can support us by using the Newt News code on SeatGeek. And honestly, I'm secretly trying to convince Andrew of some interesting merch ideas. They're not necessarily dealing the cards related, but are Cardinals related. So we'll see if we can get some of those off the ground. But you can also join it as a membership program, like Neelio was in here earlier, who donated, which is just appreciate that as always. It's one way to support us, but you can join our membership program over on the YouTube channel, which gives you access to our Discord, where we talk about stuff with our Discord users. As always, we just really appreciate all of your support. Again, we couldn't do this, we could do this without you guys, but we'd be talking by ourselves and it'd be kind of boring and weird. And it's just so fun to interact with you all. And even in the chat today, there's been good points given out. It's how we've met people like Kareem through this. And we just really appreciate all the support. So any lasting words you guys have on the way out?
Go Cards.
Go Cards.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to start we got Jackie in here who's consistent, Kenneth, David, Samuel, Joseph.
Yeah, I recognize a lot of these.
Man, I'm gonna miss so many names. I'm trying to scroll through. Neelio was in here earlier. Steve, I know,
David,
Ray, Rally Squirrel. Oh gosh, there's so many.
Kareem.
Keep saying Kareem. I'm trying to say Birds on the Farm. I keep saying Birds on the Farm, but it's not who I'm trying to say. Redbird Farm Hands, Space. There's so many of you guys that make this fun. Joe. It's just fun to have this kind of conversation with you guys, and so we're blown away by the support. So
I love seeing names in here, multiple chats in a row. It's really fun. So if you're watching, on YouTube and you've got a YouTube account you're signed into, please jump in the chat. We love going back and forth with the chat. It's really, really, really fun.
For sure.
It's great interaction.
For sure.
This is your opportunity to join.
Yes. So we'll be back on probably Wednesday or Thursday again to discuss the Pirates series. Hopefully they can go 3-0 against Skeens, but we'll see. At the very least, just take 2 of 3 from the series. Quick predictions. I'm going to say they take 2 of 3.
2 of 3.
They get swept again.
Oh,
I have to end it on a.
He's back.
No, I'm just kidding.
Never change, Andrew. I don't know. You got to give. Are you saying swept?
I don't make predictions. Every time I make predictions, they're wrong.
So that's fair. Okay, perfect.
All right. So Andrew thinks they're getting swept. They're definitely winning at least one game. That's good. Love it.
Hey, we'll take it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in as always. Again, check out 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. Download the Underdog Sports app and use our code cards to get first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a first free pick'em. Again, you can use our code Newt News on SeatGeek to save some money on the ballpark. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks, offense.
Thanks, Bullpen.